I found an alien woman in my library. I don't know how she got here." Elias Ward liked silence. That was why he worked in the Great Central Library of New London. It was one of the last places on Earth where silence still lived. No constant alerts, no thought feeds, no data implants whispering into the mind, just shelves, paper, and history. Most humans thought physical books were useless. Information could be stored in a crystal the size of a fingernail. But Elias believed books mattered. They carried mistakes, hopes, and fears in a way clean data never could. Tonight, the library was almost empty. Tall shelves rose like stone towers, filled with books that smelled of dust and age. Soft lights glowed along the ceiling. Outside, the city hummed with flying traffic and neon signs, but inside the library, time moved slowly. Elias pushed a small cart down an aisle marked History Pre-Expansion Era. He checked his wrist display. It was past midnight. "Just one more row," he said quietly to himself. That was when he heard it. A sound, not the creak of old wood, not the hum of climate control. A breath, Elias froze. The library was sealed at night. No visitors, no staff except him. Security drones patrolled the upper levels. There should have been no one else inside. He listened carefully. There it was again, soft, uneven, breathing. His heart began to beat faster. "Hello?" Elias called, his voice echoing between the shelves. No answer. He told himself it was nothing. Maybe a system malfunction, maybe stress. Still, he picked up the small light baton from his cart and moved forward slowly. The sound came from the far end of the aisle. As Elias rounded the corner, the light from his baton fell on something impossible. A woman sat on the floor between two shelves. She was not human. Her body shape was close enough to be unsettling. 2 arms, 2 legs, but her skin shimmered with faint patterns of light, like stars moving beneath glass. Her hair was silver white, floating slightly as if gravity touched it less. Her eyes were large and dark, reflecting the library lights. She was bleeding, not red. A soft blue fluid soaked into the floor beneath her. Elias dropped the light baton. It clattered loudly, the sound echoing through the silent hall. The woman looked up at him, fear clear on her face. She raised one trembling hand. "Please," she said. Her voice was strange but understandable, as if translated through invisible air. "Do not scream." Elias could not move. He had grown up with stories of aliens. Humanity had known it was not alone for over a century. Trade, distant contact, shared borders of space, all of it existed. But aliens did not appear in libraries. They did not appear injured and afraid. Elias swallowed. "Who are you?" The woman tried to stand, failed, and leaned against the shelf. "My name is Salith," she said slowly, "and I should not be here." That made 2 of them. Elias forced himself to breathe. "Where did you come from?" he asked. Salith looked around at the shelves, the books, the quiet. "I followed a signal," she said. "A forbidden signal." Elias frowned. "There are no transmitters here. This building is shielded." She gave a weak smile. "Not a transmission, a memory." Before Elias could ask what that meant, the library lights flickered. A calm, automated voice echoed through the hall. "Security scan initiating." Salith's eyes widened. "They are closer than I thought," she whispered. "Who?" Elias asked, but Salith did not answer. Instead, her body shimmered and vanished. Elias stumbled back in shock. The air where she had been felt cold. Moments later, small security drones floated down the aisle, their blue sensors scanning every corner. "No unauthorized presence detected," the system announced. The drones drifted away. Elias stood alone between the shelves, shaking. He stared at the empty floor. Blue liquid remained. Proof. This was not a dream. Minutes passed before Salith reappeared. Her invisibility faded like mist in sunlight. "You should not have stayed," she said softly. Elias laughed once, short and nervous. "I think it's too late for that." She looked at him carefully, studying his face. "You are not afraid enough," she said. "I am terrified," Elias replied. "I'm just too confused to show it." Salith nodded as if that made sense. You work here, she said. You are a keeper. I'm a librarian, Elias said. Why are you here? Salith closed her eyes. Because your species is dangerous, she said. That was not the answer he expected. Elias crossed his arms. We don't exactly rule the galaxy, she shook her head. Not in strength, not in weapons. She reached out and touched a nearby book. But in this, Elias looked at the title. A complete record of the Third World War. We study many worlds, Salith continued. Most erase their past, they delete mistakes, rewrite failures, hide shame. She met his eyes. Humans keep everything. Elias felt a strange pride rise in his chest. We learn, he said. Yes, Salith replied, and that terrifies them. She tried to stand again and winced in pain. Elias reacted without thinking. He moved to support her. Her skin was warm, real. You're injured, he said. You need help, she hesitated. If others find me, she said, this place will not survive. Elias looked around the quiet library. Why would anyone attack a building full of books? Salith gave a sad smile. Because books remember, she said, and memory is power. Outside the building, far above Earth's atmosphere, something moved. Unseen by human eyes, sleek alien vessels slipped into orbit, silent and patient. They were searching, and they had already found the signal. Back in the library, Elias helped Salith sit against a shelf. What were you sent to do? He asked quietly. She did not answer at first. Then she spoke. I was sent to make sure your stories ended here. Elias felt cold. The library lights flickered again, and somewhere between the shelves of human history, the fate of Earth quietly changed. Elias did not sleep that night. The library was quiet again, but the silence felt different now. It was heavy, as if the walls themselves were listening. Elias sat at a small desk between the shelves, watching Salith carefully. She rested against a low bookshelf, her breathing slow but uneven. The blue fluid from her wound had stopped flowing, but the light beneath her skin still flickered weakly. You should be in a hospital, Elias said softly. Salith shook her head. Human medical centers would alert the network. The network would alert them. Elias understood without asking who they were. He looked around. Then we stay here. This place is shielded. No active signals. Salith's eyes moved across the shelves again, filled with something close to awe. So much memory, she whispered, stored in paper, unchanged. Elias stood and pulled a first aid kit from the emergency cabinet. He had no idea if it would help an alien, but he had to try. As he knelt beside her, he asked the question that had been burning in his mind. How did you get inside the library? Salith hesitated. There are places in the universe, she said slowly, where reality becomes thin, where thought, time, and memory overlap. Elias frowned. You mean like portals? No, she replied, like scars. She placed her hand flat on the floor. This building sits on one. Elias stared at her. That's impossible. Your species says that often, Salith said gently. She explained that long before humans built cities, something had happened here. A moment of great human emotion, fear, hope, loss, all layered together across generations. The library had been built later unknowingly on top of it. It became a beacon, Salith said, not to ships, to minds. Elias looked around the shelves again, seeing them differently now. So you followed history? Yes, she answered. Your memories are loud. He wrapped her wound carefully. To his surprise, the material adjusted, glowing faintly as it touched her skin. You were sent here, Elias said. By who? Salith closed her eyes. The conquered of silent worlds. Elias had heard the name before. A powerful alliance of advanced species. They rarely contacted humanity directly. They believe peace comes from forgetting, Salith continued. No old wars, no remembered failures, no painful lessons. And you? Elias asked. I was a historian, she said. Before history became illegal, that word hit him hard. Illegal, Salith nodded. I was tasked with identifying dangerous cultures, worlds that kept too much memory. Elias already knew where this was going. Earth, he said. Yes. The silence stretched between them. "You were sent to destroy the library," Elias said quietly. "Yes." His chest tightened, but Salith quickly added, "I could not." She looked at him, her eyes shining. "I read your stories," she said. "Your wars, your failures, your shame." Elias waited. "And still," she continued, "you wrote them down, you taught them to your children, you warned yourselves." Her voice shook. "My people erase their past, and they repeat the same mistakes endlessly, believing they are new." Elias felt anger rising now. "So the solution is to erase us?" "No," Salith said. "The solution is to silence you." A low hum passed through the building. Elias felt it through his feet. Salith stiffened. "They are scanning," she whispered. Elias stood. "The shields will slow them," she said. "Not stop them." He ran to the control terminal and pulled up the internal systems. Everything looked normal. No alerts. "They won't see the building," Elias said. "They will see the idea," Salith replied. She struggled to her feet. "I cannot hide forever," she said. "And if they find me here, they will decide humanity is infected." "Infected?" Elias snapped. "With memory." Outside Earth's atmosphere, the alien fleet expanded its sensor field, not searching for heat or power, but for pattern, repeated thought, preserved history. Back in the library, Elias made a choice. "Then we don't hide," he said. Salith stared at him. "You cannot fight them." "We're not fighting," Elias said. "We're sharing." He activated a private channel on his terminal. "What are you doing?" Salith asked. "Calling other librarians," Elias replied. "Archivists, teachers, people who still care." Salith watched the screen as messages went out. "They're coming, protect the records, copy everything." Across Earth, small lights turned on, in forgotten libraries, in old schools. In private homes filled with books, humans responded without panic. They had done this before. Salith felt something unfamiliar tighten in her chest. Hope. "Your people are strange," she said. Elias smiled faintly. "We remember being burned once." The hum grew louder. A calm alien voice filled the air, translated perfectly. "Humanity, surrender the historian." Salith froze. The voice continued. "Compliance will ensure your survival." Elias stepped forward. "And if we refuse?" he asked. "Your past will be erased," the voice replied. "Along with your future." Elias looked at Salith. She shook her head. "Do not do this for me." He turned back to the empty air. "No," Elias said. "We're doing it for us." He pressed a key. Across the world, human history began to broadcast freely. Books, records, failures. Confessions, unfiltered. The alien fleet hesitated. They had never seen a species willingly expose its worst moments. Salith felt tears form. "They will not understand," she whispered. Elias looked at the shelves. "Then they'll have to learn." Far above, the conquered faced something new, a species that did not fear its past, and the silence of the galaxy began to crack. The message spread faster than anyone expected. Across Earth, human history flowed into the open networks. Old books were scanned. Personal journals were shared. Records of war, peace, failure, and recovery appeared on every channel. Humanity did not hide its worst moments. It showed them. Elias stood in the library, watching the data stream move across the terminal screens. His hands shook, but his eyes were steady. "They will see everything," he said. Salith stood beside him, her strength slowly returning. The glow beneath her skin pulsed brighter now. "Yes," she replied, "and that is why they are afraid." Above Earth, the conquered fleet reacted. Their ships adjusted formation, pulling back from orbit. Confusion spread through their command network. They had expected panic, denial, or surrender. Instead, humanity had answered with honesty. Inside the library, the alien voice returned, less calm this time. "Humanity. You are escalating." Elias stepped forward again. "We are explaining," he said. The voice paused. "That distinction is unfamiliar." Salith closed her eyes, listening to the silent signals passing through the air. She could feel the conquered arguing among themselves. "They do not understand choice," she said softly. "They believe survival means control." "And what do you believe?" Elias asked. She opened her eyes. "I believe survival means learning," she said. Outside the library, people gathered in the streets. They did not riot. They did not flee. Giant screens displayed history broadcasts, human voices speaking about past mistakes and lessons learned. Children watched with questions in their eyes. Teachers answered them. The conquered fleet scanned deeper. They saw humanity's worst wars. They also saw humanity rebuild. They saw cruelty and resistance to it. They saw that humans did not erase shame. They carried it, studied it, and tried to do better. In the library, warning lights flashed. "They are attempting to shut down global networks," Elias said. "They cannot stop all of it," Salith replied. "There are too many sources." She paused. "But they will try to make an example." The temperature in the room dropped. A new presence filled the air, stronger, sharper. A figure formed between the shelves, made of light and shifting shapes, a conquered envoy. Elias felt fear press against his chest, but he did not step back. The envoy spoke directly. "You are a flawed species," it said. "Your history proves this." Elias nodded. "Yes." The envoy hesitated. "You admit weakness." "Yes," Elias said. "That's how we fix it." Salith stepped forward. "They do not claim perfection," she said to the envoy. "They claim responsibility." The envoy turned toward her. "Historian Salith, you have violated your directive." Salith lifted her head. "I have fulfilled it," she said. "I have identified the most dangerous culture in this sector." The envoy's light brightened. "Explain." "Humanity remembers," Salith said, "and they choose to improve." Elias felt pride surge through him. The envoy processed this. "Memory causes conflict," it replied. Salith answered, "Memory prevents repetition." The envoy was silent. Outside, conquered ships powered their weapons, not in attack but in warning. Human defense systems activated, but no one fired. The world waited. Elias spoke again. "You erase your past," he said to the envoy. "How many times have you made the same mistake?" The envoy did not answer. Salith knew the truth. Too many. Across the conquered, older species began accessing the broadcast. Forgotten emotions stirred. Lost records were remembered. The silence they had built was breaking. One by one, conquered ships powered down their weapons. The envoy flickered. "You are altering the balance," it said. "Yes," Elias replied. "That's what learning does." Salith felt something shift in the signal field. "They are retreating," she whispered. The envoy turned to her. "You have changed," it said. "Yes," Salith answered, "because I read." The envoy faded from existence. Above Earth, the conquered fleet slowly pulled back, leaving only observation vessels behind. The immediate threat was over, but the judgment was not. In the library, Elias sank into a chair. "That went better than expected," he said weakly. Salith smiled. "You showed them your scars," she said. "They have none left to show." Around the world, humans continued to share history, not in fear but in pride. They were not perfect. They were learning. Salith looked at the shelves one last time. "This place changed the galaxy," she said. Elias nodded. "It's just a library." She shook her head. "No," she said, "it is a weapon." Elias raised an eyebrow. "A weapon." "Against forgetting," Salith replied. High above, the conquered council convened. For the first time in centuries, they opened sealed archives. Humanity had forced the galaxy to remember, and the final decision was coming. The galaxy was quiet. Not the peaceful kind of quiet, but the kind that came before a decision. High above Earth, the conquered observation ships remained still. They did not attack. They did not leave. They watched. Inside the great central library, Elias Ward stood by a tall window, looking at the sky. For the first time in his life, he felt that every book behind him mattered more than any weapon ever built. Salith stood nearby, her posture straight now, her strength fully returned. The glow beneath her skin was steady and bright. "The council is meeting," she said softly. Elias nodded. "To decide if we deserve to exist." "Yes," Salith replied honestly. Elias exhaled slowly. "Fair enough." Across the galaxy, the conquered council gathered. Ancient beings of many shapes and forms appeared as light, thought, and presence. For centuries they had ruled through silence, through forgetting, through controlled peace. Now human history played before them. They saw humans fail again and again. They also saw humans stand back up. They saw cities destroyed and rebuilt. They saw hatred and movements against it. They saw humans argue with each other, question leaders, write warnings to future generations. One council voice finally spoke. "This species documents its own shame," another answered, "and still survives." A third voice, older and quieter, asked the question no one wanted to ask. "What have we erased?" Back on Earth, Elias heard footsteps behind him. "You could still leave," Salith said. "Leave my own story," Elias replied. "No," she studied him. "Your species is very stubborn." Elias smiled. "We write that down too." Suddenly, the library lights dimmed. A presence filled the room again, but this time it felt different. Not cold, not sharp. The conquered envoy returned. Elias felt his heart race, but he did not move. "Humanity," the envoy said, "the council has reached a conclusion." Salith stepped forward. "And?" she asked. The envoy paused. "For the first time in our history," it said, "we are uncertain." Elias blinked. "That's new." "Yes," the envoy replied. "Your openness has caused internal conflict." Salith felt a strange relief. "That means it worked," she whispered. The envoy continued. "You are flawed. You are dangerous. You are emotional." Elias nodded again. "Still true." "But," the envoy said, "you are aware of it." The word echoed. "Aware." "Civilizations that erase their past collapse without understanding why," the envoy said. "You have not." Salith felt tears rise again. "The council has voted," the envoy said. "Earth will not be silenced." Elias closed his eyes for a moment. "Thank you," he said quietly, but the envoy was not finished. "Humanity will be designated as a memory species." Elias frowned. "That sounds important." "It is unprecedented," the envoy replied. "You will serve as archivists, not rulers, not enforcers." Salith turned toward Elias, stunned. "They are asking humans to teach," she said. "To remember," the envoy corrected. Across the galaxy, sealed archives began to unlock. Lost records resurfaced. Forgotten truths returned. Some civilizations reacted with fear, others with relief. The silence was breaking everywhere. On Earth, people watched the sky as the conquered ships finally moved, not away but into a new formation. Peaceful. In the library, Elias laughed softly. "All this," he said, gesturing to the shelves, "because we kept our old books." Salith smiled. "You kept yourselves," she said. Days later, the great central library changed. Alien visitors arrived, not soldiers, not judges, but students. They walked the aisles carefully, reading human history with wide eyes. They asked questions, and humans answered honestly. Elias returned to his daily work, shelving books, guiding visitors, protecting the quiet. Salith stayed. She was no longer a fugitive. She was a learner. One evening, Elias placed a new book on the shelf. Its cover was simple. "The Day the Galaxy Remembered." Salith watched him. "You wrote that?" she asked. "No," Elias replied. "All of us did." She looked around the library one last time, feeling the weight of memory pressing gently instead of painfully. "Your species changed everything," she said. Elias shook his head. "We just refused to forget." Far across the stars, civilizations began writing again. Not just victories, but mistakes. And for the first time in a very long time, the galaxy moved forward, not by erasing the past, but by learning from it. Final HFY message: humanity was never the strongest, never the oldest, never the most advanced, but it remembered. And that made all the difference.